Welcome back to Any Given Monday. I don't know who it was. I think it might have been Tweeth or Jay. I can't remember. Their idea for the title of this pod is Monday Q's, Friday A's, right? Monday Q's question and answer that we're going to do every Friday. Mark Baldwin, how are you, sir?
I'm great. Good to see you, Ryan. And I know today is a difficult day for you. And today is an ode to Wellesley. You wrote
Yeah,
a beautiful piece a while ago about your Bassett, and that day has come.
the day has come for dog owners, pet owners. They know what this like. It sucks. And yeah, you're gonna miss him like crazy. So he's living a good last day. We're gonna take him to McDonald's. He had donuts for breakfast. He's gonna have chocolate. I mean, what is it gonna do? Kill him? You know? So yeah, it's good.
What a way to go.
What a way to go. Let's get into the questions. You want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Sure, I'll take the first question. All right, my first question comes from Weekend Warrior Golf. I saw Lydia Ko said something like growing women's golf is a double-edged sword because in order to grow, we need more money and added equipment and staff. But to get more money, we need to grow. Thoughts on the topic in general?
This is, I think, could be a pod series by itself. It's an article that I worked on again yesterday. I think the article came from a 2-hour discussion that I had in a group of media people, Golf Channel people, of how to grow the LPGA. So this answer is deep and tough. I will boil the article down, and it's societal. There's so many complexities to the LPGA, but in my opinion, you need some vulnerability, and that comes from everybody. You need some vulnerability from the tour to be honest about their struggle, some of their struggles. You need vulnerability from the players. You need vulnerability from sponsors. You just need a large dose of vulnerability. And again, there's so many layers to that. This conversation started with Gabby. I don't think Gabby was fine with me mentioning it. She was going to a seminar about how to cover women's sports, and I'm just like, my answer is you cover it as you cover men's, but it's just not that simple. But I think overall, here's what I will. This is kind of the example is right. Is like, and there's many people to blame for this. This is not just players or LPGA media. There's plenty of how we can get better, but we know everything about Scotty. We know Bennett's name. Like everybody knows every like pretty locked in golf fan knows Bennett Scheffler, knows that he drove the same car forever, knows his wife, knows his parents. What do you know about Nelly Corda? What do you know about Lydia Ko? What do you know about Gino? Like there's so many, and that's media needs to be better. The players need to be better. The tour needs to be better with them saying stuff that isn't perfect about the tour. So that all comes with vulnerability. So you could do a whole podcast. That is how you grow the game. Is everyone needs to buy in to making it an honest, better product.
It seems that for everyone to buy in, that's just such a hard proposition because you have the players out there already who have their cards, the ones that you really need to buy in that have, some name recognition already. They're making a living and they've figured out how to ascend to the top of the tour, right? And they're going to have to change their routine. They're going to have to get outside their comfort zone. You need that, but how do you sell that to those players that you mentioned?
Yeah. And I've asked on Yana Wilson, and I don't know if she is or not coming on. She may very well. But again, there's so many layers to this. Yana's 19 years old. Like, how vulnerable can you be at 19? And so it's a young woman's game. And to your point, Mark, is like my thing about the LPGA and portion of this article is everyone pretends like everything's okay. And there's plenty of good things happening on the LPGA. This is not like all negative. It's how to grow it. Everyone pretends like it's okay. And there are things that are not okay. Nellie's relationship with the media, Lexi's relationship with the media, their willingness to be part of growing this game because they're the biggest names in golf. The media's responsibility of going to cover events more and being more honest about their coverage and putting accessibility and all of those things to the side because you want to cover true stories. You want to cover it as honest as you can. The tour, again, there's just like everyone pretends like it's great, and there's plenty of good things happening on the LPGA. But I think discussions and honest coverage is really good for the sport. It creates discussion, and it creates. I put up a tweet about Rose Zhang going to college, and it had more responses than most 98% of my tweets about the LPGA. That's not a bad thing. Like, that's just not a bad thing. But everyone has to be okay with that. Like, everyone has to be okay with it not being okay. I got a nice text messages from Rose's agent. Like, hey, thanks for putting this up. Like, that's everybody's got to be okay with it. Rose does, and like criticism is part of the deal. So, yeah, it's a complicated thing. And I love to talk about it because I'm not saying I'm right by any means. But I don't think anyone would disagree, honestly, if they thought about the coverage of women's golf. How to fix it is not, but it is very everything is okay coverage.
Yeah, and you understand it's hard as a player to open yourself up to scrutiny, that being vulnerable in the way that you're discussing, being honest in the way that you're discussing would would create. So for Rose to come out to do a bunch of interviews to talk about her choice to attend school, to take months off from competition, to come back, and try to work through her issues on the golf course. And then, every, let's say 5 or 6 weeks get in contention, but it's been so long since she's been in contention that it's hard to close. To talk about that for her just creates probably so much more trouble, anxiety, and difficulties than is worthwhile to her personally. Great for the sport, great for the women's game, but it takes a taxing toll on her personally. And you need every player who's in somewhat of a similar predicament relative to their lifestyle to do something like that. And I don't know how you overcome those personal barriers.
Yeah, and Mark, to that point, is like I don't know how you do that for this generation being the most. Like, I talk about it in the article, but I went to Rose's press, what is deemed a press conference at the Mizuho, and to be fair to Rose, and again blaming golf media for not covering it, it's a vicious circle. They're not vulnerable, so media doesn't come. But does media come because they're not vulnerable because media is not there to gain trust, right? So it's like it's a rolling thing. But I went to Rose's press conference with every intention of asking about the college thing, and then you go into this press conference. There's not media there for the most part, and so the LPGA itself asks questions, and they're like, they're not quite. This is a PR stunt. This is not. I mean, a stunt. This is a PR exercise. Not a press conference. It's like, oh, you working with juniors and blah blah blah. So then I'm like, oh man, I'm not going to be the guy. So when you are Rose and that has been your existence in the media, in the world, to just all of a sudden change, and then you would like, I would be defensive if like any normal human would be like, why am I going to be asking this question about my college? Like for 4 years, I've just gone to college and no one's cared. Like, so yes, to change an entire like structure is daunting. There is no answer. I don't know how to do it.
It's just a bunch of double-edged swords.
It is
right? With the media, with the coverage of the media, and then with the players who, maybe they do say something honest and unexpected,
right,
and they open themselves up to scrutiny, and then it becomes combative, and then they no longer want to do that anymore. There's just
100%.
there's no incentive personally for these people to do it, and it's totally understandable.
Sophia Popov was the first to complain about the course of Frisco at the major, and people are like, oh, she just bitches all the time and she sucks and blah blah, like women just bitch, and like, whoa, why does Sophia want to open herself up to that? Right? It's like Sophia is a major winner, but in the golf world just goes about her business, and the general public doesn't care. She says one thing and she just gets hammered for it. Then as the week goes on, she just happened to be the first, and everyone, a large portion of the field, are complaining about it. And so it's like, why do you want to be that? Like, why do you want to put yourself through that? No one does. And so, yeah, it could be a whole series of podcasts, and something I'm hoping to try to get a bunch of people to talk about. But it's even to that point, it's hard to get players to talk about this issue.
Well, and when you're at the top of your game and playing well, you don't want to create more animosity or distractions for yourself, which what you're proposing could potentially do.
Yeah.
And when you're playing badly and you're really struggling and you feel like you have nothing to lose, that's when you're most likely to just stream of consciousness talk with anyone. Yeah. But by that point, who really is willing to listen if you're playing badly?
Yeah. On a much, much smaller scale, right? This is what the PGA Tour, the players I talk to, are what are going through as far as the changes on the PGA Tour. I've talked to a lot of players who are like, these changes suck, I hate them, but they're current PGA Tour members. It's literally a no-win situation for them to speak up. Everyone's going to say, play better, or stop your bitching, or you're making $1 million to play golf, or whatever. And then they have to go, eventually their goal is to play with top players more often. And now they're playing with top players. Oh, and this guy spoke out, and like that's awkward. And so on a much, much smaller scale, that's what the LPGA is going through. Like, in my opinion, needs to fix. Well, how the hell do you fix it? Like, I've talked to many players that are like, hey, dude, if you speak up, maybe someone else is. And they're like, yeah, I'm not doing that, dude. I'm not going to be the guy to say that this all sucks and Rory sucks or Cantlay sucks. Yeah, no one's going to say that. So, we've spent 12 minutes on it, and you could spend 12 hours, 12 days.
Okay, just to close that loop really quick.
Yeah,
let's say you had 10 Charlie Hulls.
Yes.
How much more interest would the LPGA
100%. Generate? If those Charlie Hulls were in different portions, right? You had Charlie's a more lovable Bryson type figure, right? She's like outspoken, weird, different, right? Give me a Brooks, right? The grumpy guy. Give me the Patrick Reed, who's a villain. Like, give me some characters. And I'm not trying to create characters. Those people are out on the LPGA. It's just not brought out to the public. Like, if you had 12 of those, my God, like I say it all the time. Everyone says it, not just me. Like you and I say it, Mark, all the time. It's like a lot of the guys that went to live, the PGA Tour misses villains. Like, you need someone to hate. And I use this example all the time. We all watched Bryson try to hit across the water at Bay Hill. A lot of us thought he was an asshole. but we were tuned in. And so if the LPGA had rooting for and interest, and Charlie does that in some respects, right? Is like, I think overall she's universally loved because she's just out there and who she is and so different. But there's definitely people like, oh, she sucks and she shouldn't drink and shouldn't smoke. She's around kids, blah, blah, blah. It's great. That's amazing for the LPGA that someone is creating emotion. You need to create emotion, and there's not a lot of that on the LPGA.
Yeah. This is an argument as well, or could be an argument for paying players a salary, because when your income is totally incentive based, everything is based around your score and how you play. If I was guaranteed money and a bunch of media people came to me and they said, hey, look at the WWE and look at, it's all fake, but what you guys do is real, or you girls do is real. But we are going to lean into this thing this week, and it's going to make you look a bit like a heel. But it would be really good for us if you could just play that up and have fun with it. Not in, in any malicious way where like you're going to, people are going to threaten you and your family on social media, but in a fun way. And I think some people would be prone to leaning into that. But if that takes away your attention from the game, if that takes away your energy from the game, you're probably not going to be as likely to want to participate.
Yep. I love this topic. I could do the whole Q&A on it. Let me make one final point. The reason this frustrates me from the standpoint of the lack of vulnerability, and again, I'm not sure where that frustration is pointed at because there's so many ways to point it, but the frustration is that the LPGA is a good product. And the women are amazing athletes, and they deserve to be covered as the men's side is. And again, as we just discussed, there's so many layers to it. With that comes criticism, and with that comes pushback. And how to change that is it. So all of that to say is like, they're deserving players. It's great to watch. It's a great product at its base. You just need to be honest about it. All right, Mark, switching total gears, that was great. That's why this podcast is one of my favorites that we do. All right. Is the Ryder Cup pricing itself out of range of the regular fans? Before you answer that, I will add, if you don't follow Josh Carpenter, you should. He's from the Sports Business Journal, and he has all of this stuff. He's great about it. And ratings, advertisers, prices. He's a great follow. So is the Ryder Cup pricing itself out?
Yeah, I think unquestionably. If I wanted to go to the Ryder Cup and take my family, that was something I would love to do, but I'm not going to spend $5,000 on it. Would I spend 500? To take an entire day? Yeah, I would. But to have to buy tickets for your family, for your kids, all the costs to get there, and then what you're going to spend at the event, I think it's prohibitively expensive for any casual fan that doesn't make well over six figures, or is willing to put a significant percentage of their entertainment budget towards one event for the whole year. I just think it's shockingly expensive.
I mean, some of these prices, Josh put out an article yesterday and I quote tweeted it. The PGA of America is they're trying to do what the Masters did with no history and no food. First of all, like, so the Masters, you can order now like a whole buffet spread and it's sent to your house and you can have all the Masters stuff. So if you have a Masters party, it's great. They, I guess, stole that, which is fine. That's how business works. But there's no food. There's no history. You get napkins, cups, plates, table tents, a sticker, and some quiet paddles, 2 quiet paddles for $1,100. Like, it's insane. That's insane. Like there's a $10,000 ticket now. It comes with like you get, this is per day. One like you get a car to pick you up. I don't know what the rules are with that, and you get into like some suites and stuff and food all day. $10,000, and here's what we're headed down. I don't think Beth Page will be that, but if we continue down this path, what we're doing is going to create the Super Bowl crowd. For those that watch the Super Bowl, it's filled with corporate people. It's priced out of everything, right? Everyone just wants to be at the Super Bowl. There's no like crowd noise for the Lions. The Lions are never in the Super Bowl. There's because no one there has a rooting interest in the game itself. They're just happy to be there. Like if I got Super Bowl tickets, I would go. I could care less like if the Lions are playing or not. But if I'm there and the Lions aren't there, I have no rooting interest. And that's what we're heading toward. Part of the great atmosphere of the Ryder Cup is that in America, we're all doing it. If it's going to be all corporate, eventually there's going to be enough corporate people there that it's going to lose the atmosphere of what makes the Ryder Cup great. And that sucks. It's insane, the price of tickets. Truly insane.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's going to entirely lose its rowdy history and characteristics. And then you got to keep in mind too that true fans, the really diehards, are flying across the pond to come see it.
Yeah.
What if all of a sudden everyone just stops doing that? And it's only home crowds, and it's only corporate suits that are around there. I mean, think about what big university football programs do for their students. They have lotteries for their, monogram club, for their alumni. For students, they are almost grandfathered into a student rate, right, for a certain amount of tickets. And that has to happen just across the spectrum at the majors, at Ryder Cup, just so that we don't lose, the diehard, like blue collar fans.
Yeah. I mean, so I've talked about the fact that the Ryder Cup, from a golf perspective, golf, it sucks. There's not enough golf to go around. You can't see it. But I went to the Belfry in 2002. I just looked it up because I always forget the year. 2002. The fun is the most fun part of it is everyone knows you're an American, and like you talk shit. Tiger, makes a chip, and like you talk shit, and like you're rooting for that's what makes the atmosphere great. Like the atmosphere live is amazing. Golf side, I would never go again, but like the atmosphere is great. And when we lose that, we've lost the plot. Like that is the issue with this pricing is like, again, I would, to your point, like a casual golf and blue collar middle class person is not spending $2,500, $3,500. I think the tickets are $750 one day for just like regular things. Like to take you, there's not a scenario in my life that I would spend $2,000 for me and my kid to go to the Ryder Cup, like to any sporting event. So we're losing people who want to go. That's nuts. It's yes. The answer is yes.
Yeah. And that's happening not just in golf. It's happening in football. It's happening in all sports. It's maybe not all sports, but it's happening in concerts and entertainment across, festivals, just across. That is the trend line of all live entertainment now.
Yeah. Okay. Your turn. He's got to scroll. I'll fire one.
We're going to have to edit out a pause here.
Okay. No, I'll fire.
Okay, here you go.
Yeah.
What is the long-term prognosis of PGA Tour Americas? Do you think there is an opening for a true Canadian tour to return?
I've had this debate with a player, and he was actually on the other side of an America's Tour player. I think the America's Tour is doomed. I would be shocked if the America's Tour is around in 5 years. I would be shocked. The direction, I don't think the Champions Tour, I think Tiger holds the keys to whether the Champions Tour remains a thing. If Tiger plays, it's obviously a thing. If he doesn't play, they're in deep shit. So I think when you're a for-profit organization, and like there's dispute. If you got rid of some of the salaries, I think the America's Tour could probably make money. They make a ton on Q schools and those kind of things, but it's not significant. And I think the PGA Tour now as a for-profit organization would look at the America's Tour as they're looking at the Champions Tour and go like, are we better for this? And a player disagrees with me that I talked to. A lot of people think I'm close, more people, but there's definitely another side that think that it is. I had a point. There was a point that I was going to bring up. I think reduction of the PGA Tour is coming, and that means in everything, in all facets, tours, events, a lot. I think Brian, coming from the NFL, is very set on there being an off season and people wanting golf, and I think that's going to be the end of. Eamon Lynch said it. It's like the end of pro golf as we know it is coming. That's not. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Just it's going to look significantly different.
Yeah. Well, I guess if that were the case, you'd hope that Q school gets expanded and they have more spots. I mean, I don't have any sort of empirical data on this, but I would assume that the players who gain their status via PGA Tour America, via Canadian, when it used to be just a standalone operation, and Latin America Tour, do better than the players who just get their Korn Ferry cards through Q School. There's just a lot. It's a better proving ground over a longer period of time, and I think you see that with the strength of the tour now. So many players that I see that I play with and I think are really good. They finish like 25th to 40th pretty regularly and on the Latin or the Americas Tour. So you need a development system. You need a proper development system. It would be a shame if that goes away for the sport, because I just don't think players are going to develop to the level. Now, the argument's going to be that college golf is, pro golf light now. And so that's doing the job that the Americas Tour would have done, and it's doing it faster for them, and they don't have to spend the resources. That's an argument that can be made. It's maybe a reasonable argument, but I would, I look at that maybe like the just when you think about baseball and you think about the draft, there was for a long time in the draft, there was this idea that high school ball players were more valuable than college ball players and they had more potential. But then, Moneyball happened and Bill James became mainstream. And then you looked at the data and you realized that the players who had the experience of college ball were much better suited, far more valuable than high school players. And that's kind of the way I see, college versus America's Tour or a proper development system. It's another really important level where players just get better among a more stout, deeper group of players who are playing for their livelihoods. And I think that matters. It's not just that a university is covering all your expenses. Now you have to learn to travel. On your own. You have to be self-reliant, independent, and you have your own budget and your own bankroll. And those are all really important things, I think, that players have to deal with once they become a tour player. And for some coming from college, when it doesn't go the way they expected it to, it is shocking, and it causes them to fall off the map.
I actually talked about Michael Brennan, who was out. We're recording Thursday. Anyway, was out the Michael Brennan one. Go back and listen to it, because I asked him that very question is like, hey, you're on a team. He was at a big school, Wake Forest, where a huge investment in the golf program. Like, what is golf lonely? And so, yes to all of those points. I tend to think that if the America's Tour goes away, in a dream world, I think ideally for the U.S. and to keep as many players in the game as possible is to go to, and I've talked about it a lot since I've been back from Ireland, is the European Tour model of like the mini tours are attached to the Korn Ferry Tour, and the top players can from each tour, and you could go like on the West Florida tour, maybe it's just the money winner because it's a 1-day tour, and it's 7 from the APT tour because it's a 4-day tour. Whatever, there's logistics to figure out, but mini tours that funnel into the Corn Ferry Tour, even if it's just a few spots from each tour, because there is a ton of pressure from players. I talk to parents and players often. They feel this like pressure from everyone to go to the Americas Tour. And the fact is, money ends careers. The lack of money ends careers way faster than talent. So in going to the Americas Tour, Mark and I's friend, Mark Anguiano, if he had to do it all over again, would probably never go to Canada. He was playing great, went up there, had a terrible season, went broke, and basically has never recovered from that. And so in an ideal world, he just continues to play Asher events or whatever, dominate, stay at home a lot, make money, eventually get through Q school. But if he had a weight, Mark would have gotten through the Asher Tour if we had the European Tour model. So that's probably not going to happen either, because the PGA Tour just doesn't care about mini tours, and they have like a lifelong vacuum that will be constantly filled. They don't need to do that. But yeah, that's it. I think that's it.
We'll also see how many players poaches from the Americas Tour at before the start of their year. If they poach a couple more, like Freddie Ketterup last year, that it may go away immediately.
Yeah. Mark, this was directed at me, and I'll answer it, but I think you're much better to answer it. It was directed at me, but I think you have been on the road and you have a family. Is it difficult family-wise to be on the road so often now that you have gained real notoriety? Like, that's the hardest thing about pro golf, I would assume.
Yeah, the bigger your family gets too, the harder it is to go away. I used to dread leaving, especially if I was traveling to Asia. I would come up with any excuse in my mind not to go. And part of it was, you just don't want to be on a plane for 15 hours. But the other part is, what if something happens and you're that far away and you just can't, it takes you 2 days to get back. There's just it's really hard to leave, but once you go, it gets easier. And I think that's just the reality of it. And, I think a lot of people get to the point where they may have to make a decision, and the reality of the profession is that you have to be on the road 25 to 30 weeks a year. And there may be 6 or 7 consecutive weeks where you don't get to see your family. And if you aren't willing to do that and aren't able to do that, it might not be the profession for you. Because every point now matters so much to be able to get a PGA Tour card, because that's just the main pathway is through Corn Ferry Tour, and it's such a grind out there.
And I will take it from a different perspective. It's definitely, as I have had the opportunity to go to more events and stuff like that, it's definitely been an adjustment period for sure. I am a homebody. I like to be in my recliner looking at golf scores. And so it's definitely been an adjustment. To Mark's point, from a coverage standpoint, once I get to the event, it's great. It's about like going to the airport and traveling and being that far away when stuff is going on. I will take Tom Whitney again in the lost. I'm going to call it the lost fire pit files. Went to his house and he had such a great answer about traveling. He's like, one of the hardest things is and they have 4 kids, is ingraining himself back into a family structure that works without him. The kids, like his wife handles the discipline, handles everything. And so he says and it's a great point, is how do I ingrain myself into an already working family culture is one of the harder parts. And I, even on a 1-week basis, my wife and I go through that. It's like, I'm gone for a week. I come back. I'm the disciplinarian of the house. And Steph, understandably, because she's by herself, lets things go. And then I come back and I go, what the hell is this? What's that? What's this? And then Annie's like, whoa, dude, like, just got back. You don't have to be an asshole. So like I've had to learn to like, okay, when I come home, that first day just needs to be like, chill out. Let's you know, let's
I don't take
enjoy it.
Annie's. I don't take orders from strangers.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you haven't been here in a week. Just chill out about how many vegetables I'm eating, you know? So
Yeah.
that's Mark's obviously better to answer that question.
Well, when Miles was first born, I couldn't wait to leave because it was the only time I'd get sleep. My poor wife.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh,
but
trust
no.
me, there's times with the kids that I'm like, yeah, probably good I'm on the road.
The reality is, and I've talked about this with Mark Hubbard and some other, players after their first kids were born, and it's that when you are away, you feel guilty for not being there, and when you are home, you feel guilty for not working on your game and trying to keep up with your competitors.
Yeah, that's very good. Very good. We can answer these as we go, but do partners get paired together based on the type of ball they use, or does it really matter that much? If you're in a situation, Mark, how much would that factor into a partner you are playing with?
Well,
like if they use a very different ball than you,
who are they going to pair in alternate shot with Ben Griffin? He plays a max fly.
It's so true.
I don't know shit about a max fly ball. I can't tell you what a max fly ball does. I'm sure it's a good ball, but I don't know how a max fly ball reacts at all. So if I'm a player and I've never even thought that in my head, and I'm about to play for my country.
There's no chance they're playing a max fly.
They're not playing a max fly. Of course they're not. So that sucks for Ben, but I think like for Bryson, people who are just very particular, that's going to matter a lot. Like if Bryson has to play a Callaway, he's paired with Xander or whatever, that's going to be a point of contention.
100%.
And if he hits a bad shot, he's going to go this effing ball, right? So I do think it matters, and I think that's something that will factor into how you pair players together.
100%. I think the ball is so important to these guys, and it's not the ball, because a lot of balls, the top of pro golf, and Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, like the top of pro golf, the balls are great. They're all great, right? But they react differently. That's the thing.
No, they're all shit. The only ball that's any good is the Callaway.
Yeah, fair enough. That's right.
No, I'm not paid to say that at all. Just for the record. Full disclosure, I am.
You want to know what the ball is going to do. Like if this spins a little more, or this doesn't cut as much or whatever, you want to know what the ball's doing. That's the biggest factor.
Yeah, completely. Look, I switched to a triple diamond ball, the Callaway Chrome Tour Triple Diamond, which reduces spin by 300 RPMs. And I noticed it almost immediately, and it made a difference between that and the Chrome Tour X. So these are the best players in the world, right? Yes. The top line balls are all exceptional, especially with the quality control that the best players in the world get for the Ryder Cup. I would have no doubt about that. But if there's any doubt in your mind that this ball is not going to spin the way I need it to spin here, the way I'm used to it spinning, and it's going to be, my same swing is going to be 15 feet instead of 8 feet or 7 feet, right? If that gets into your mind, it can make a difference in the way you swing. So, and these guys are all, they're all very particular. So this is an important factor when you're making pairings.
I don't know if it's your turn or my turn. I think I asked 2 in a row. So you fire.
Okay. I'm going to ask you and then I'll answer this. Chris Gallagher, why does everyone forget that Olafable still had a putt to tie the hole on 17 at Brookline in 99 when the U.S. team ran around the green losing their minds?
That's a great question. When he said it, it took me a minute to go, did he really? And then I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. He did. I mean, that's what we're Americans. That's what we do, which is celebrate. It was a great putt. And there's no good answer.
That's the most America answer. We're Americans. That's what we do.
Americans. It's like what we do.
This is just what we do. No, the answer is that because that happened, right? That's why we forget, because all you
Yeah,
remember is the
that's
wild
true.
celebration and
Yeah,
Leonard running around the green. You don't
yeah,
remember, the team trying to quiet the crowd after they realized they had gone too far.
yeah. I remember the shirts and the
Sure.
putt and the
Yeah.
celebration more than one of the best players at the time in golf had a putt to win.
The
I
shirts
mean, to tie.
definitely are an indelible mark in your mind. You cannot forget what they
You
wore
will
that
never
day.
forget those.
Never.
I will. There's a very good chance I'll have dementia in my life, right? Like everyone in my family has
Sure.
dementia, and I will remember those shirts. Like they'll turn on, I'll be like, "Oh, Brookline, yeah, that's it. Like that's it." Um, all right. Tom asked, hit on KFT cards and the different types. We're gonna hire. There's gonna be a ton of KFT content coming up with Q School and the finals. So, Tom, we will get to that question. It's just going to be closer as players get cards. Will I be covering the Ryder Cup? No, it's not. I mean, of course, I'll be tweeting about it, but I'm not going to be at Bethpage. I really don't have much. Of course, I have interest. I love the Ryder Cup from on TV, but and I have interest in like Ben Griffin. I loved it. Like I'm not trying to pretend like I don't. I'm not going to watch it. I am, but I'm not. But I'm
Don't
not going to be
worry.
like,
There will be plenty of Monday Q info hot takes on Twitter during
oh
the
yeah,
Ryder Cup.
100%. But
And
also that week, I am playing in Alpina's version of the Ryder Cup, so I'll be busy that week playing in the American version of the. There's not enough Europeans here. We're just like Alpina dudes versus Alpina dudes. But
yeah. No, I'm sure that very few European dudes have ever been to Alpine or heard of
that's
it,
true. That's true.
besides the ones that follow you on social media. Okay, here's a question for you. What is the track record of remaining on tour for the winners of KFT?
Hmm.
There's more to that question, but that's what
Here,
it boils down to.
here, I'll take that question. I don't know. I don't know the percentage. Here is the deeper question that in my mind and in a lot of players' minds needs to be fixed. And the Corn Ferry Tour is getting better. They don't play very good courses. They're not preparing you for the PGA Tour. So the best players aren't getting through. And I think that's what the Corn Ferry Tour needs to fix as a true developmental series. They play a lot of courses where you shoot 26, 27 under to win. And so part of reducing cards is getting these guys more starts. That's been an issue. I think the signature event still offsets the fact that they're going to get all of the starts. So not sure it's going to help the success rate by any means. But part of the issue has been you don't get a lot of starts. You're getting in fields late. You're arriving late. You can't have any type of routine. But a bigger factor, I use Peter Quest all the time in this example. Peter's Mondayed into like 7 of events. I think he's played like 15 PGA Tour events through exemptions and top 10s and whatever. And half of those events, he's finished in the top 25. And until a couple weeks ago, has done nothing on the Corn Ferry Tour. I think he finished second or third a couple weeks ago and he's like 50th in points, but he'd have to have a great finals to graduate or in Q School. And there's no doubt about his talent, and his results have shown that he's a great PGA Tour player. And that's the people we want to, like the Corn Ferry Tour wants to promote, not Peter in general, but the best future tour players. So I think that's a bigger question you got to fix is how do you promote the 20 best players? It's never going to be 20. You're going to have a couple guys who like play well a couple hot weeks and they're going to get their card, but we're not promoting the best 20 best players a lot of the time.
Yeah, golf courses are a huge part of that. And I wonder, Robert Garrigus talked about Jason Gore's suggestions to the executive team at the tour for how to, kind of bring some sort of balance. And I got to think that's going to be a topic that he covers, because it's glaringly obvious that when, like how many times throughout the course of a PGA Tour season do guys shoot 25 under to win? It happens all the time on Korn Ferry Tour. It just almost never happens on the PGA Tour.
I mean, Andy from the Fried Egg, Shane Bacon, myself, everyone has said, why do not, if you Monday in, I don't think exemptions would be included, but if you Monday into a PGA Tour event and make the cut, you should get Korn Ferry points every single time. Like, that's the goal. The goal is to promote the best players. And every Korn Ferry member has the opportunity to go to a PGA Tour Monday. If you're a member, you don't have to play a pre-queue. So you have the same opportunity everybody else does to go get through a Monday. And so if you're doing that, you should get it. And like the year Peter had, he should have been getting Korn Ferry points too. Yeah, we're not promoting the best players. That's the gist of it. Any more? Or are we done?
I've got one for you.
Fire.
In 2027, there will be a feature-length Bluey film. Will you be seeing it?
No, I don't think in 2027. No. You will be. Miles will be right. Like, that'll be prime. Let's see. Miles will be like 8.
He'll still love Bluey.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, he'll be 7. And
I mean,
and
I think
I'll actually go by myself. I won't even go with him.
Yeah, I mean, Jack might go. Yeah, and maybe it'll be like the cool thing to do if you're a teenager. So maybe Annie will go at 14.
I know people are like, "Oh, this is such a dad question," but to quote W. Kamau Bell, Bluey is the Breaking Bad of children's television.
It really is. Bluey's quite a thing. Mark, a schedule. People have asked, not in general, but someone did ask if you're going to Q School. I think you may have answered this quickly last time, but just quickly where you're going for first stage.
Yeah, as soon as Monday Q Info gets acquired, I'll be paying my entry fee and I'll be going.
Are you listening, Liv? So we know the PGA Tour is not paying us what we would do.
Anyone who's interested in becoming a partner. No, I'm going to first stage out here at Southern Dunes, and that's in Maricopa. It's the site that I usually go to. And then I signed up for the second stage site. It's a new one at Star Pass in Tucson. And so I'm going to go make a scouting trip there in the coming weeks. And I wasn't sure whether I should go there or not. And I was looking at it online. It looks really quirky and tight. And when researching the other courses, one of the courses just really suits my game to a T, but Ryan caddied for me there the last time 2 years ago, and Kinderloo Forest, and we had the last 7 holes were a complete debacle. And I'm worried that might flash through my mind at some point during the course of the week. So I don't know whether I can overcome that mental hurdle. There's still time to change. But I did text Phil Mickelson, because he has won at Star Pass twice in his career when the PGA Tour was played there, the Tucson Open, I believe. And I said, look, it looks super tight online, but you won there twice. It can't be that narrow. And he said, man, just go get it on grass and make that place your home course, and you'll do fine.
We'll talk more about this as Q School comes up. But Mark's point about going there, Mark got into first stage late a couple of years ago, or didn't get his pick for whatever reason, and got like his last pick. And it was this very quirky course. The weirdest, it has to be the weirdest Q School site forever. The greens were like literally 5-10 paces wide. It was wild. And double dog legs. And anyway, because it was so weird, a lot of guys, no one chose that site, I would assume. A very minimal part. Everybody we talked to was like, this is my last choice. A portion of the field was defeated before they teed it up. And that's an advantage. Marcus played everywhere, under every conditions, crazy jungle courses in China and whatever. So it's like, maybe it doesn't fit his game, but very rarely do you go to a stage at Q School where you don't have to worry about everyone in the field. And in quirky course case, like there's going to be, you're not going to know them, but like I remember in a practice round, Mark and I are walking at this quirky first stage site, and there was this guy that the rough was like super grabby and like it was terrible to chip out of, right, Mark? Like it was horrible.
Yeah, it was just gnarly and very grainy.
Yeah, you had to just hit like a splash every time. So I see this guy chipping over like a couple greens over, and he cannot chip, and he's slamming his club, and like it was a day before the tournament. That guy's done. Like the first bad chip, he's gonna like early in the first day, he's done, like gone. And that just doesn't happen. So it's nice to have knowing that at least some players are just going to be mentally defeated before you tee it up. And this is a new site, so it's not like people are going to have some sort of advantage.
And I wrote about that today with an article about the cost of Q School using Jared Hack in his interview with you earlier this week. And he talks about that. That's why he chose first stage. Maybe we're getting a little ahead of ourselves talking about second stage so much. You still got to get through first stage before you get to second. And that's no easy task. But you want to choose the right sites. It's really important that you feel comfortable with the sites that you're choosing. Because if all goes to plan, you end up going there, you're going to need to play your best, some of your best golf on these courses. And there are certainly there are courses for horses. And when I got through Q School, the 2 times that I did, making it through all 3 stages, I felt really comfortable that the second stage courses both times suited my game perfectly. So you want that. Now I talk about the costs of each stage, and Jared breaks it all down, estimates it. So go check that out today on mondayq.com.
A lot going on. We had Jared. We're doing 3 pods a week. I love this pod. That first question is exactly why. It's great. Thank you for everyone. Thanks to Dadwater. Go check them out. Sponsor of ours and been very good to us. I'll be heading to the Korn Ferry Tour Championship at the end of October when they hand out the cards for Dadwater. So appreciate them. Mark, as always, I'm going to go put my dog to sleep, which is
everybody.
Hey,
say a little prayer for Wellesley.
Wellesley is signing off. That's it, Marcus. Till Monday. Great scheduled guests. Got another Epson LPGA player with an amazing story next week. We got some great pods coming up. So I think this is our 3rd week in a row we're doing 3 pods in a week. We're on it. We are on it.
And we'd love to hear from our listeners, because if they're still tuning in at this point, they are true diehard Monday Q fans.
Yeah.
So we'd love to hear from you. How do you like this format? How do you like the week schedule? What could be better? What doesn't work? We'd love to hear from you. So send Ryan or I an email. He's mondayqinfo@gmail.com. I'm markbaldwingolf@gmail.com, or drop us.
We get one email. If someone's tuned in to 5342, we should give like a I don't know, some Dadwater stuff. I mean, God bless you for being here. Sam Wolf will be here. Sam will be here. Thanks, Sam. Thanks for being the one who made it to the end.
We appreciate anyone who's still listening.
Yeah. Thanks, Mark. See you later.